Creation theory versus Big Bang theory versus the truth. How big is the universe and how old is it really? When I was a child, I was taught creation theory. I was also taught how to think critically. As I got older, I started to hear stories about the size of the universe and its age that were different than the story I'd been told as a child. But because of my relationship with God, I did not entirely let go of what I had been taught as a child, and I kept an open mind. Before I knew anything about anything, I knew God. God has always been with me, and I remember being with God before I was born. I would always feel sorry for people who did not believe in the God that was with me, because he's really a good friend. I was taught as a child to have a personal relationship with God, and that it is important to work on that relationship before anything else. So when I heard the conflicting opinions about the creation of the universe, I did not get involved. But like I said, I kept open-minded, and my thinking on this subject did evolve. The teachings of my church told me that God was infinite and space was infinite, and that he had created other worlds besides this one, and that he had populated other worlds with humans the same as this one. On the other hand, I was also being taught that the Bible was created in 6 24-hour days. I did get to the point where I decided that the day spoken of in the Bible had to be longer than 24 hours. The evidences were too big to ignore. As a child, 1,000 years seemed like a long time, but now that I'm older, 1,000 years does not seem very long at all. In fact, compared to the idea of forever, where time has no beginning or end, any amount of time the human mind can think of is only a small segment of forever. At some point in time, I recognize that truth is confirmed by evidences. There are various types of evidences, and the more types of evidences you have, the better established the truth of all things. Because of my relationship with God, I do recognize the manifestations of the Spirit as a valid form of evidence. But wisdom has also taught me that some spiritual manifestations are not from God, but from the enemy of God. I also accept feelings as evidences. Experience is always valid as evidence. I would like to say that hard evidence is the best evidence, but again, it has been my experience that the hard evidence is not always as it appears to be, and one should not always believe what he sees. So the more of these different types of evidences that one has, the better and stronger the case for truth. So getting back to the age of the earth, the hard evidence speaks of the age of the earth as being billions of years old. If the method of calculating that age can be trusted, only a fool would think otherwise. If the Bible is to be believed, then a day of creation has to be longer than 24 hours. In fact, now that I know the truth, the 24-hour creation theory is ridiculous, even laughable, and I cannot believe I was so stupid to believe it. But hey, I was just a kid. Now we come to the Big Bang theory. When I started hearing about the Big Bang, I did not get involved in the debate. I heard some of the elements of the theory, but never took a close look at it. From what I heard, I tried to imagine what the Big Bang would look like. What if one were able to collect all the matter in the universe into one place and that there was a big explosion? What would it look like? It seemed to me that in the direction of the explosion, there would now be a big void, and if one were to look in the right direction in space, he would see younger galaxies, and if he were to look at the opposite end of space, the galaxies would be older, and all the galaxies in between would be middle-aged. But I never heard any evidence supporting the idea, but there are varying ages of galaxies, and they do get further apart the further out they are. So now that I know the truth about the age of the earth and how it was created, I decided to take a closer look at the actual Big Bang theory.